Hello and welcome back to Talking Planning. You join me at 5:30 on a crisp April morning on George Street as one of Sydney's new trams approaches on an L3 service bound for Circular Quay. While I wait for it to arrive, let's discuss a little bit of Aussie tram history. Sydney has quite an interesting history with trams and light rail. Prior to World War II, Sydney was home to the second largest tram network in the Commonwealth, only behind London. This fact is sure to upset a few Melburnians who seem to think the sun shines out of their eyes. As the war ended, Sydney made the same mistake as many other North American, British and Australian cities and decided to switch from trams, along with their high quality and dedicated infrastructure, to buses. This trend was repeated across most of Australia, with most cities either removing or drastically scaling back their networks. Humble Melburnians will be quick to point out that by 1970 they had Australia's only substantial tram network, although a single line also remained operational in Adelaide. By the 1990s, transport authorities, urban planners and engineers started to realise that putting a few buses amongst our car-centric road network is not really the best way to deliver good public transport and reduce congestion. The tram versus bus debate is still a strong one, with many transport engineers pointing out that buses can operate very efficiently along dedicated busways. However, a high-quality, dedicated infrastructure that goes along with light rail can be a big boost to its public perception. In less technical terms, trams are sexy, according to one of my university lecturers. I don't know if I'd go that far to describe it, but I'd say they certainly have political appeal and can be a far more attractive and vote-winning proposition than a bus network. When it comes to light rail revival, Sydney was the first cab off the rank, with Sydney's first line opening in 1997 between Central Station and Wentworth Park. In 2000, that line was extended to Lilyfield, and in 2014, the line was further extended to Dulwich Hill. Adelaide also modernised their network during the 2000s and bought a mix of Bombardier Flexity Classics and a few Alstom Citadis 302s, which were surplus rolling stock from Madrid. The 2010s were also an exciting decade for light rail revival, and the Gold Coast managed to snag its own tram network, operated by these Bombardier Flexity 2s. The tram network was not without its controversies, but I think the extension from Gold Coast University Hospital through to Helensvale helped solidify the importance of the network. Newcastle also saw the return of trams with the light rail line opening in February 2019. I've already reviewed both of those, and you should probably go and check them out right after this video. Canberra also opened their first light rail line in April 2019, using trams quite similar to those in Newcastle. The tram line that I'm on in today's video first opened in December 2019, and the L3 Juniors Kingsford extension opened in February 2020. So now that we're finally on board, let's discuss these specific trams in a little more detail. Sydney's L2 and L3 lines are operated using 60 of these Alstom Citadis 305 trams. Not only are these trams large and in charge, thanks to their 5-section design, they also operate in pairs, with a combined length of 67 metres and space for 466 passengers. For comparison, most 3-car trains in Queensland Rail, so like the EMUs, the SMUs and the IMU series trains, are 72 metres in length and have passenger capacities between 440 and 500. These trams are some serious people movers. But since I'm up at the crack of dawn, and I've almost got this tram to myself, which is a pretty special feeling, let's sit back, relax and have a listen as we make our way from Town Hall to QVB station.
including the airport line. The next stop is QVB, followed by Wynyard, Bridge Street, then Circular Quay. This stop is QVB, a light for Darling Harbour and Pitt Street Mall. This stop is QVB.
Travelling along, I do find the interior design of these trams pretty interesting, but I am surprised they chose to put black rubber curtains and grey bulkheads into this design. Sure, they mightn't show up dirt as easily as some of the lighter colours, but I think it actually makes the trams feel a lot less spacious inside. I was also delighted to manage to get this seat undisturbed. With the wide-angle lens, it's pretty cool being able to get two sets of doors in the frame. Sitting here though, it's also very easy to see that these trams favour standing passengers rather than seated ones.
This stop is Wynyard. The next stop is Bridge Street, followed by Circular Quay.
But like most modern trams, you'll find a suite of emergency help points, door releases and door buttons. But in addition, there's a little wheelchair stop request button. I presume there's a ramp in here somewhere? I'm just not sure. Let's go for a bit of a wander through tram 032.
The next stop is Circular Quay.
One bit of technology that I didn't mention earlier is that these trams have two power collection systems. Like most trams, they use a traditional pantograph, but for the inner city sections of the line, they also use Alstom's proprietary APS system, which, excuse my terrible pronunciation, is Alimentation par Sol, which I think translates to feeds power through the ground or something like that. This is different to the supercapacitor system in Newcastle, which is a form of high-speed charge but low-endurance battery technology. This system is basically just underground power and that's it. Since Circular Quay is our next stop, I think it's a good time to sit back, relax and watch the tram make its final turn around the bend as the sun starts to rise over Sydney.
This service terminates at Circular Quay. Alight for Sydney Opera House and the Rocks. Change for trains, including the airport line and ferries.
For a modern tram, they do seem to creak and rattle a little bit. But since we're now at Circular Quay, it's time to make our way down the platform, tap that Opal card, and get ready to admire the beautiful morning glow. But before I go and grab my desperately needed morning coffee, I think it's time to watch another tram depart and make its way towards Randwick. But since it's now 6 AM and I really need that coffee, I just want to say thanks for joining me and I'll see you again next time.